The sanctuary spell enables me to travel to my crypt, where the soil of my grave provides me respite. I often resort to this when I am weak and need nourishment. Reputed to have been ripped from the chest of the greatest vampire to have ever existed, Janos Audron, the Heart of Darkness restores vampiric unlife. Life is precious, Janos discovered, as it was torn, throbbing and bleeding from his own body. These curious devices hurl bolts of whirling energy and eviscerate my human enemies by stripping ragged flesh from blood-stained bone. While it is true that natural light weakens a vampire, magical light can have many uses indeed.
Please, help me, kind sir!
Flay. The Pentaliche, a medley of death and evisceration. Let fate choose my enemy's demise. The Pentaliche of Tarot. The energy bolt employs magical force in its rawest form, a messy spell, but a potent one nonetheless. Of all the methods I employ, this is perhaps the cruelest, causing my victim's body to shrink on itself, crushing bones and rupturing organs till the pressure inside bursts the sack of fleshy skin, spraying its contents for all to see. The Pentaliche of Tarot. Of all the methods I employ, this is perhaps the cruelest, causing my victims implode. My magic extends into very exotic disciplines, such as the manipulation of time. I am able to slow time down so I can move about, quick as a wolf, while all others move as though they were mired in mud. Slow time. At times, my magic... Slow time. Should this object strike an enemy, rot and decay would instantly eat their flesh and leave only a pool of blood and tissue. For a time after, the toxins are still active and therefore lethal to the touch. Font of... Should this object strike an enemy, rot and decay would instantly... Font of Putrescence. Font of Putrescence. When conjured, the energy bank permits me access to mass amounts of magical energy for a brief period of time. However, when the moment passes, I will be drained of all magic, unable to cast even the simplest of spells. Font of Putrescence. Energy Bolt. Energy Bank. When conjured, the energy bank permits me access to mass amounts of magical energy for a brief period of time. However, when the moment passes, I will be drained of all magic, unable to cast even the simplest of spells. The mace is amongst my most useful of weapons, for it merely stuns my victims, allowing me ample time to feed. Iron sword. Spiked mace. Invoking this spell cloaks me under a protective aegis. Whatever spell is cast at me will be reflected back at the caster, leaving me unharmed. It will only last for a short time, however, before leaving me vulnerable once more. Repel. Repel. Lower forms of undead fall swiftly to deception. With the bone armor, they are not as eager to challenge me. Bone armor.
May Victus!
This cleanses my body of any dangerous poisons. Quite useful with all the filth I find myself surrounded by. Anti-toxin. This spell allows me to exploit the petty prejudices of man. Minor grievance would escalate to murderous rage, and oh, the sweet terror when the spell wore off and they saw their hands covered with their neighbor's blood. Havoc and malice, their presence in my hands keeps me from employing magic. Yet rest assured, they do little to hamper my relish for slaughter. The axes.
Victus!
The human mind is a fragile thing. One minor shock properly timed can render them catatonic and ripe for feeding. Through this magic I can stop my enemies in their tracks. Frozen in time, they can do nothing to hinder their own doom. Sometimes I draw out their fate, for the added fear sweetens their blood.
Victus! Victus!
This spell allows me to use blood from my own body as a weapon. When struck, my enemy's blood would flow from their bodies to fill me with life. 'Tis a risk, yet the rewards are a temptation. This spell allows me to enslave my enemies, giving me control of their bodies. When I release my grip, their bodies will shrivel and die as I displace their souls and replace them with my own. sword ravages flesh with teeth of metal and flame, leaving only scorched remains. Flame sword. My enemies are quite vicious, and the Chaos Armor extracts from them a heavy price for their bloodlust. The blows are meant for me, but it is their bodies that carry the wounds. Chaos Armor. Oh, to bathe in the blood of others. This spell is especially useful in the face of multiple combatants. Beware those with tainted blood.
Help me, kind sir!
How convenient. This armor, wrought with the blood of noblemen, drains the blood from my enemies for me, leaving me to focus on the slaughter at hand. Flesh armor. A spell worthy of the necromancer himself. This allows me to dissect a creature's soul from its vessel of flesh. For these poor wretches, only oblivion awaits. With this spell I can call upon the heavens to tear my enemies apart with its explosive power. Oh, how their bodies will rupture as the scything energy rips through them. Time fades even legend, and the origin of Soul Reaver has been lost long ago. But its purpose remains, to feed on the souls of any creature it strikes. Kindred, this blade and I. The Soul Reaver. This armor was spawned in the most impure of spirit forges, tempered from the seething agony of tortured souls. The metal exists only partially in the human realm, causing it to fade between tangible and ethereal states. Wraith armor.
It will deliver you in time.
Strange runes litter its metallic surface. 'Tis with caution that I carry this mysterious device. With this spell, I can tear a creature's soul from its body, leaving its vacant flesh mine to control. Time streaming device. The Heart of Darkness. Flay. The Pentaliche of Tarot. Implode. Slow Time. Font of Putrescence. Energy Bank. Nupraptor's Head. Anti-Toxin. Vorador's Signet Ring. Bane's Antler Headdress. Dejul's Insulating Cloak. Malek's Helmet. Azimuth's Eye. Time streaming device. Time streaming device. Time streaming device. Flame Sword. The Axes. Bone Armor. Spiked Mace. Iron Armor. Iron Sword. Flesh Armor. The Soul Reaver. Wraith Armor. Flame Sword. Repel. Sanctuary. Light. Energy Bolt. Repel. Inspire Hate. Stun. Incapacitate. Blood Gout. Control Mind. Blood Shower. Spirit Death. Lightning. Spirit Rack. Spirit Rack.